Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. If you're new here, please do consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. If you are returning again, thank you so much for watching my videos, for supporting me, and I do hope that you enjoy today's video. So today's video is going to be about tips and tricks that I use to style my items. You know, sometimes you wear an item and it either doesn't fit well on your body or something is just not right with it. So I'm just going to give you a few tips and tricks here on that you can use to kind of make items feel or fit better on your body. So I'll be giving you all those tips, and I do hope you enjoy, and I do hope that you pick up a trick here and there. Without further ado, let's get into it. Guys, it's so hot today. Like, I think the temperature is like 36 degrees or something. I have the aircon on. I have to switch it off because you know, in this economy you can't have the aircon on for a long time. But it's so hot, guys. It's extremely hot. So the first tip is about trying to avoid makeup transferring to your clothes. Now, in most cases, we do our makeup first and then we wear our clothes. And sometimes when you are wearing like a closed top like this one or a t-shirt, makeup kind of transfers to that item. So this tip is about trying to avoid that from happening. So what you're going to need is a scarf. So I have this scarf here, as you can see, and I'm going to demonstrate it with this t-shirt over here. And I am wearing makeup. I am wearing foundation. So after you've done your makeup and you're ready to wear your clothes, you just take the scarf and you put it over your head. And then you take your item, in this case, this t-shirt. I'm going to demonstrate. And you put it over your head like that. You pull out the scarf, and there you have your t-shirt worn. And the hair you can always fix, right? The scarf then prevents the t-shirt or whatever it is that you're wearing from touching your face. So that's just a trick that I've learned to kind of avoid that from happening. At the end of the day, when you're back from your work or your errands in the evening or afternoon, when you're back and you need to take off the makeup, you obviously need to wash the makeup off, but you can't wash the makeup while you still have the item on, because that also, when the process of washing, you sometimes also get the makeup on your items, right? Either through the water spilling or whatever happens, and then you have the makeup on your clothes, which is not what we want. So same process. To take the t-shirt off, you just put the scarf again over your head, you tuck it into the t-shirt, and then you remove the t-shirt. I'm just going to demonstrate now how to do it. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is how to avoid makeup transferring to your clothes. And we can check the t-shirt just to make sure there is really no makeup. And as you can see, there is really no makeup on the neck of the t-shirt. Yeah, so that's just a trick, and I hope you like that. And we can move on to the next tip while I fix my hair. So the next hack is about maintaining pleats in your pleated skirts. So I have a pleated skirt here. I'm sure you guys have seen this skirt in my previous videos, but as you can see, it's a pleated skirt and it has the pleats. So the idea is to maintain these pleats in the skirt, because once these start to disappear, ironing this, because you will have to do it almost one by one, this can take forever to iron this. So what I do to maintain the pleats is I take the skirt, I hold it up at the top like that, and then I twist. So you just take it and then you twist the skirt like that. See, you twist it, and then you have like a twisted skirt that is like that. So this is how I maintain the pleats. Once I have this twisted like this, I just roll it up like that, and then I store it in the cupboard like this. Now sometimes some of the materials of the skirts are a bit too soft, and when you store it like this, it may create wrinkles in the skirt, and then you would still need to iron the wrinkles, which is kind of what we are trying to avoid, right? So for those materials of the skirts that are a bit too soft, I just have the twisted skirt like that, and then I store it in the cupboard this way. Now obviously when you leave the ends, this will untwist again. So what I do is, you either take your hair, what do you call this? These hair things, or maybe even an elastic band, and then you just tie the top and the bottom of the skirt so that it doesn't untwist. You store it in the cupboard this way. So this obviously works when you don't hang your skirts. I don't hang my skirts for some reason, I don't know. I fold them in the cupboard. So this is then how I would store. If the material is a bit soft, this is how I would store it. If it's okay, I would just roll it up and then I would store it like this in the cupboard. So this is my trick of how I maintain the pleats in my pleated skirts. Alright, so the next trick is about when we wear fitted shirts, especially when we wear shirts that are really tight to the body. Now what happens sometimes, and I'll show you, when you wear a shirt that is really fitted to your body, usually you will get this gap. You see this gap? You will get this gap between the buttons, and this usually occurs like at the top of your breast, right? You get that gap where the material is kind of separating between the two buttons. Now for me, this is not very flattering. I don't like it. So what I try to do then is to close that gap. I have this fashion tape. So I got this from Amazon a while back. So this is what I use sometimes to close that gap. And how they come is they come in like strips. So you take one strip like that, and it's double-sided, right? So you take it and then you put it on the top side of the shirt, and then you stick it to the bottom of the shirt so it closes that gap. I do know that these fashion tape are not really easily accessible, especially where I live. I haven't seen many of these in the shops. So as an alternative, what I sometimes do is I use a pin, right? And it still does the same purpose really. To be able to close that gap, what I do is I almost like flip the shirt inside out, right? So I take the shirt, I flip it at the area where there's a gap, and then I put the pin inside, on the inside. Now what you need to do is when you put the pin, you need to make sure that you don't put the pin all the way that it shows on the outside of the shirt. So what you need to do is you put it into the shirt, but then you just take a little bit of the material from the outside of the shirt, if that makes sense, so that the pin or the silver part of the pin doesn't show on the outside. So you just take a little bit of that material and then you pin it through and then you close it, and then there you have it. See, the gap has been closed and you don't see the silver side of the pin on the outside of the shirt. So this is how I close that gap over there. And you just need to be extra careful, right? Especially when you have those fabrics that are a bit fragile, like your satin, your silk fabrics, because when you put in the pin, sometimes you can rip threads of the fabric, so you just need to take extra care when you do this hack for those materials that are a bit fragile. Right, so the next tip is when you have those long belts. Let me just demonstrate. You know, sometimes you wear a belt and the belt is a bit too long for you, like the end of the belt hangs. Doesn't look very nice. And I've seen that some people actually like turn the belt inside, on the inside like that, to kind of solve this problem of the belt just hanging, which also doesn't look nice because you have this huge thingy on this part of the belt. So what I suggest is, and for those who follow me on Instagram, you may have also seen this trick because I also showed it there on my page. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, please, here's the handle, please go follow me. So you take your belt, you take your hair scrunchie, this hair thing, and it preferably use one that is the same color as the belt, right? Slide it into the belt like that, and then you just tie it around the belt, if that makes sense. So you end up with something like that on the belt. You will just wear your belt like that, close your belt, and then that thing that we have just, the hair piece that we have just put on the belt is right here, right? Then you just slit the end of the belt through that, like that. As you can see, right? And there you have just solved your problem. I hope you're enjoying the video. So the next trick is actually when you are wearing like oversized blazers and sweaters and shirts, right? So sometimes when you're wearing these oversized items, they actually look better and more fashionable. You roll up the sleeves like that. But when you do that, because they are oversized, the sleeves don't actually stay rolled up. You'll be going about your day, and then you would continuously need to keep rolling up the sleeves because now you see it has gone down again. So the best thing to do in those cases, you take your elastic band, you put it on the sleeve, right, of the blazer. You come closer like that, and then you just roll up the sleeve, right? And then you just make sure that you cover the elastic band with the blazer or the item that you are wearing that way. You just cover it, and there you have it. You can go about your day and these sleeves will not roll down. Just make sure the hair thing that you put is not too tight, that it blocks your blood flow, because that can also happen. But otherwise, this is the hack, and these sleeves are not going anywhere. They are going to stay there for the rest of the day. So you see, just by adding a belt, we have transformed this oversized blazer into like a fashionable item. See? So that's another hack, guys. You just add a belt and you're good to go. Doesn't this look nice? Just with a belt and the sleeve rolled up, like it has really just transformed the blazer, right? Okay, so the next hack is sometimes you wear your items and then you realize, maybe as you're leaving the house or as you're about to go, that there are some wrinkles on the item. So it can be your shirt, maybe your collar has a bit of wrinkles or whatever, you know. You just take the straightener, put it on the collar, and then you just slide it through like that, and it will take out those wrinkles. Obviously you're not going to iron the whole item with this, but these are just for those small creases of wrinkles that you just want to straighten out. So we're almost coming to the end of today's video. The next step is when you tuck in your shirts in your pants, or I guess maybe even your skirts, right? So you know you tuck in your shirts, right? And then as you go about your day, as you go about your business, you know, maybe the back of the shirt comes out, or one part comes out more than the other, so it doesn't look neat, right? So my tip is, and unfortunately I cannot demonstrate this one, I just have to talk you through it. My tip is to tuck in your shirt under your underwear. Yes, I know that sounds crazy, but think about it. When you tuck in your shirt in your pants, right, there's nothing actually holding it in place, unless maybe you have a belt, a very tight belt, but still, it would still somehow, one side will still come out, right? But when you tuck in your shirt under your underwear, that underwear holds that shirt in place. It's not going anywhere. That item will remain tucked in for the rest of the day, and you will look polished, you will look put together throughout the day. So that's my tip. Try it and let me know how it goes. Please do tag me, please do let me know when you try it how it goes. But I've been using it and it has always been working for me. So when you tuck in your shirts, just tuck it in, but go underneath your underwear, and that item will remain tucked in for the rest of the day. Thank me later. Or the next hack is when you have shoes that are a bit too tight. You know, sometimes you buy a shoe, it is your size, but sometimes either the design or the make of the shoe is a bit narrow for your feet, right? So it kind of becomes too tight for your feet. Now, I did show this hack on my Instagram page. Again, if you don't follow me on Instagram, please do go follow me. But I got comments that it wasn't exactly clear on the process, so I'm just trying to explain it here again, and I will demonstrate the whole process. So what you do is you take your shoe that is tight. This is actually the same boot that I demonstrated on the Instagram page. You take your shoe that is tight, you take a Ziploc bag, and you put normal room temperature, normal cold water from the tap into the Ziploc bag. So you need a plastic bag that doesn't have any holes. So once you put water into that plastic bag, you put the plastic bag inside the shoe, and then you put the shoe in a plastic bag, and then you put the shoe in the freezer. Not the fridge, the freezer. And you need to put that overnight. So the idea is that when water freezes, it expands, right? So when you put the plastic bag with the water inside the shoe, once the water starts to freeze, it will expand, and in that process, it will then also expand the shoe. And in that way, you will be able to, I guess, fit better in the shoe, right? So let me just demonstrate this process to you so that you clearly get the idea of what I'm talking about. So here's the water in the Ziploc bag. It's tightly closed, so make sure it's like really, really tightly closed. And there's no holes in the bag. So there's no water leaking from the bag, and it will not leak into the shoe. You take your shoe, you put the bag with the water inside the shoe. Make sure it even goes like to the front of the shoe, right? So once the bag with the water is inside the shoe, you put the shoe in a plastic bag. Just a normal plastic bag from the shops. You put it inside, and then you put this in the freezer, and it should overnight in the freezer so that the water freezes. And then as the water freezes, it will expand, and in that way it will then also, as it expands, it will also push the shoe to expand. So basically that's really the trick. And then you just remove the shoe from the freezer in the morning and you can wear the shoe as normal. In the same process, using like a heel, just put the bag with the water inside the heel like that, right? Making sure it goes inside as much as possible. If there's air in the bag, you can always open the bag a bit so that you remove the air, and in that way you'll be able to push the water a bit further down the shoe, and then you just make sure that it's closed. And then same with the boot, you put this in a plastic bag and then you put this in the freezer. And then it's also important when you put the shoe in the freezer that it remains upright. You don't want it to be lying either on its side, because you want the water to expand, and then as it expands it will expand in all directions, as opposed to when it's lying on its side, then there's actually no expansion that will be happening on the side where there's no water. So it's important that when you put this in the freezer, it stays upright like that. So that's my trick on how you can expand your shoes that are your size, but they are a bit too tight for you. Alright, so this is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were able to pick up a few tricks here and there that you can use in your own daily life. I will be doing another video where I'll be showing you more tricks and hacks, so please be on the lookout for that one. If you have any video suggestions, and also if you have any other hacks or tips that I have not covered in today's video that you use, please leave that in the comment section below. Please do subscribe to the channel and also like and share this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.